Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the table at a dance competition? Exactly what are the judges looking for anyway? This is Making the Impact, a dance competition podcast. Each week, we'll cover a different topic related to the world of competitive dance from the perspective of the judges behind the table. This week's episode is our final studio spotlight of Season 5, and it's a special one. Beyond Belief Dance Company is known for incredible performance quality, entertainment value, and a high level of commitment. It also happens to be owned and operated by Justin Johnson, perhaps better known as Alyssa Edwards from Season 5 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Hey y'all, welcome to this week's episode of Making the Impact. I'm your host, Courtney Ortiz, and I'm here with my co-host, Lesley Mealor.
Hey Courtney, can you believe it is almost the end of the season?
No, I'm so sad about it. Every time this time comes around, each season, I'm just like, what are we going to do without the podcast?
What are we going to do? What is everybody going to do? They're going to have
true.
to go back to season 1 and start over for like the couple of months in between, or catch up if they are delayed in their listening.
I feel like there's a lot of new listeners that have discovered the podcast this year. So shout out to any listeners out there who are new and recently discovered our podcast. We've been around for a while. There are 5 seasons worth of things to listen to. And as we are nearing our end of season 5, we are also doing our very final studio spotlight episode today.
Yes, and we are super stoked to have the studio on. It's kind of a neat compilation episode. We have a studio, which is a studio in its own right, but then the owner also happens to be kind of a star in their own right. So
Yes.
It's a really cool episode. We can't wait for you to listen to it. But before we head into that, we have some Making the Impact awards that have been given out during this season. Do you want to talk about those, Court?
Yes. So as you may have heard, our Making the Impact Award is sponsored by our podcast and Impact Dance Adjudicators and is distributed at each IDA affiliated competition event that has at least one IDA judge on the panel. That judge or your judges want to pick one dance. They want to recognize you. They get to pick one dance that they felt like through the entire weekend event made an impact to them through their performance, their choreography, their storytelling, their technique. You name it, they just can't stop thinking about you. And they want to award you with the Making the Impact Award. And one of the perks of winning that award is getting a shout out live on our podcast. So Lesley, would you like to do the honors of our very first Making the Impact Award winner?
Yes, I would. From High Demand Dance Competitions event in Long Island, New York. Congrats to Dance Arts Development Center of St. James, New York, and Sophia C. for their solo Last Dance. I got to judge and watch that dance. It was amazing, so congratulations, Sophia.
From True Dance Challenges event in New Castle, Pennsylvania. Congrats to Studio K from Kane, Pennsylvania for their large group, Looking Good, Feeling Gorgeous.
From Star Talent Productions event in Sevierville, Tennessee. Congrats to Acro Dance Express, LLC of Clarksville, Tennessee, and Emery B. for their solo Smile.
And from World Class Talent Experiences event in Long Island, New York. Congrats to KJ Dance Theater of Massapequa, New York for their large group, Something to Someone.
And before we jump into the episode, let's hear from our sponsors.
Our Season 5 premier sponsor, Francisco Gala Danceworks, is thrilled to introduce New Century Dance Project, a performance festival for the aspiring choreographers. Throughout this 7-day intensive, you will learn the craft of choreography from the perspective of not only the choreographer, but also for the dancers. New Century Dance Project hosts many components during their event, such as a choreography intensive, a prestigious choreography competition, concert performances, and community outreach events. The intensive starts each day with a technique class, followed by classes and seminars that will help you hone your choreographic skills, like compositional techniques, improv, music selection, lighting design, and so much more. Submit your work into the New Century Dance Project Choreography Competition, which offers 3 different age groups: high school, undergraduate, and emerging professional. The competition results in a Critics' Choice winner and a People's Choice winner for each age division. If you're an aspiring choreographer 15 years or older and looking to advance your composition game, then head to the New Century Dance Project, happening this summer in Santa Fe, New Mexico, from July 29th through August 4th, 2024. And don't forget, if you want to save $75, use our exclusive podcast promo code, Making the Impact, in all caps, when registering for the festival. Learn more on their website and register now at newcenturydanceproject.org. Thank you to Francisco Gala Danceworks for being our Season 5 premier sponsor. I have 4 important words for you. No more lash glue. Lily Lashes is the leading prestige lash brand, and they just launched a new type of eyelash that I feel will be making an impact in the industry. Introducing their new 3D foam ink reusable self-adhesive lash that has a sticky band and stays put by using your own body heat for over 12 hours. You'll never have to wait for that lash glue to dry ever again. These are the easiest lashes to apply and can be repositioned during application until you get them just right. Lily Lashes come in a variety of shapes, styles, and sizes, so you can find that perfect lash that works best for you. I've loved wearing the self-adhesive lashes, and my favorite style is called the Trendsetter. With just a little bit of trimming required to fit my eye shape, they were quick and easy to put on before I hit the stage and stayed put all day. Head to their website to view all of their eyelash options at lilylashes.com. And there's a special discount code just for our podcast listeners. Use the code IMPACT20 in all caps at checkout to receive 20% off your order of your new Lily Lashes. Get stage ready and make your eyes pop with Lily Lashes. We are jumping into our final studio spotlight episode of season 5. Everyone loves the studio spotlights, y'all, because they are just an inside look into successful studios around the country and the world. And I'm real pumped about our final studio spotlight of season 5. I actually had the pleasure of judging and watching these dancers on stage this season at competition. And wow, I truly said so many times in my head, and even to everyone who I talked about after watching, I said, I felt like I was watching a show. I felt like I was getting paid to watch a show. I didn't feel like I was judging. I think that's what everyone wants their judges to say and feel when they watch a dance on stage at competition is I didn't even really critique. I was just like, this was great. Loved it. Love everything about it. You know, that's what you really want your judges to say. And after watching them all weekend long and being so impressed and getting to work with their dancers in class, I was like, we have to have them on the podcast. And then they said yes, and I was so excited. So I'm really excited to welcome our next studio spotlight. They are coming from the state of Texas in the Dallas area. They have been featured on an entire Netflix series all about them, and you may have even seen them on America's Got Talent. I'm excited to welcome the owner of Beyond Belief Dance Company. Welcome Justin Johnson to the podcast. Welcome, Justin.
Hi, thank you guys for having me. And wow, so this is ultimately what fuels me, what motivates me, and what I love so much about what it is I do, especially hearing all the positivity that you just shared about my students, about the program, and about them in the workshop classes.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for inviting me. Truly an honor.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, I think that's what's really fun about where our podcast has gone in all of these seasons. And I'm sure, Lesley, you can speak as well on this, is that I sometimes when I'm judging and I see those studios, I'm like, we got to get them on the podcast. Like, I'm out here scouting for these awesome studios that exist around the country. And luckily we have this platform where we can talk and learn more about your studio. Besides me, I only have seen them and, you know, on stage and worked with them in class. Now I get to learn the inner workings of Beyond Belief and how it came about and how you got into the studio ownership and how many hours your dancers train and all those little details that everyone wants to know. So thank you, Justin, for wanting to be here. And I'd love to kick things off before we jump into the studio aspect. Let's talk about you. Can you tell me a little bit more about your early dance life? When did you start dancing? Did you always know you wanted to be a studio owner? When did the studio start? Tell me more.
Oh my goodness, how much time do we have?
As long as you want.
I'll give the long story short. So I'm one of 7. I do have 4 sisters, and growing up in Mesquite from a very Southern quintessential Texan family. My father, very masculine, definitely believed boys wear blue, girls wear pink. And then there's me, his first son with my mom, and I'm all things colorful. So my father was bound and determined to make me an All-American ball player. And after 2 broken arms, I felt like I'd been assaulted by a baseball a million times. My grandmother said, we're giving up on this. Put the put all of that down. And by the grace of God, I have a gunkle, a gay uncle, who is in the world of theater, and told my mom, Justin needs to be in some kind of theater program.
Wow.
Obviously, there wasn't access to that. And of course, my family didn't know anything about that. But there was a local dance studio. And I'll never forget this because they were running an ad in the Mesquite newspaper. It was like an all boys hip hop dance class. And it was like $10 a month. Okay. So that was many, many, many years ago, trying to get boys involved in dance.
Wow.
My father was not having it, but my grandmother took me to the class. And I think after like class 2, the owner came out and she was like, who is the parent of this child? And it was a studio owner. My grandmother's like, oh, that's my grandson. She was like, he needs to go into a jazz class, like a competition program. And I was just so young. I actually, believe it or not, was very shy as a kid. And I found my voice through dancing and going to my dance classes. Now, here's the thing. I wasn't talking, but gestures I was great at. And like more of like, I think like when you start thinking of like pantomime and movement and storytelling, I didn't get to indulge in the idea of an improv class. It's like a tap ballet jazz. Okay. So we're in that era of dance.
Yes.
But through the movement, my teachers recognized something was there. So I became like a student teacher. I was always the teacher's pet. I was the first one there, the last one to leave, because it was really the only place where I felt safe, I felt celebrated, and I felt heard. Even if I wasn't talking, I felt like my existence, my presence was alive and vibrant and well received. And so shortly after, a few years dancing competitively there, I was the only little boy on the company. My teachers were like, you've got to get Justin into an academy. He needs to go to a school. He needs a male ballet teacher. And we started, and my poor grandmother, she just was like, it was a little overwhelming for her.
She's like, I just wanted him to have a little fun time.
Exactly.
Not all this.
It became something like, for her, she's like, look, he's not good at the football, the baseball. We need an activity for him. But I'm very thankful that my grandmother my uncle introduced me into a world that would become, I feel like, not just a passion, not just a part of me. It would be like my calling. It would be a world that I would believe in, and that I knew that I would be a part of this for the rest of my life. I can't say I ever woke up wanting to be a studio owner, but I did know at a very young age, after being a student teacher, is that I wanted to be like the Steven Spielberg of dance. Okay. And so for me, Courtney, thank you for recognizing, I don't think that Beyond Belief Dance Company, I don't think we make dances. I think we make performances. I think we make shows. For me, I grew out of the 5, 6, 7, 8, stage right, stage left. Let's get a 100 on a score sheet. More for me, especially at this point in my life, 21 seasons later, by the way.
Wow.
Wow.
It's more about a performance. I always tell my students, look, I want to sit in the audience and I just want to watch, a 2 to 3 minute entertaining show that I can't get enough of. Skip the intermission. Let's get back to Act 2.
Yes.
But Beyond Belief kind of really fell into my hands. I was, after, competing, which I'm so enthralled with everything that's going on in our world today. Children have so much access.
Yeah.
These young dancers, the youth of today that will be the future of tomorrow. Between this phone and these conventions and all of the opportunities through YouTube, everyone is dancing nowadays. So you think you can dance, Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
I know Lizzo had a show. We've seen so many dance shows, and I love that. One of my all-time favorites, it was America's Best Dance Crew. I'm really taking you back.
Yes.
Love America's Best Dance Crew.
Yes. These shows have inspired so many people to want to dance. Yeah. And, me as well. And I think that I started teaching like in Mesquite competition, like drill, dance, pom was really, really popular, really big, really relevant. and my sisters were in drill. So that's kind of really where my uncle and grandmother were like, look, we've got to get him involved, because I would do their little steps on the sidelines and it killed my father, especially me wearing the little football costume.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like a teeny tiny little boy, but I kind of got into that drill world, that dance team world, didn't know much about it, but I learned very quickly like palm and visuals and precision.
Yeah.
And I started like assisting teaching that. And this dance team that I was teaching for, we were at a ballet studio, and I actually really enjoyed just being a part of something. So when she had her first child going off to like kindergarten, she was at a point where she's like, look, Justin, I don't know if I want to like continue next year. And I was like, oh, I totally get it. So we were moving out, and the owner of the ballet, the studio, she had MS really bad. And the landlord came, and as they were getting ready to move out, we were getting ready to move out. The studio the building was going to be essentially empty. And he said to me, I was on break. He said, I see you here every Sunday, and you have a big group. There was like 35 kids on the little dance team. And he said, have you ever thought about being a business owner? And I just kind of looked at him, and before I could say yes or no, Michelle Sherrard, oh my gosh, my fairy godmother, one of my students, her mother said, yes, he's interested. Absolutely interested. Yes. And kind of like a second mom to me, like a dance mom for me. Like I said, coming from a large family, my parents just didn't have time. They weren't as involved. And I looked at her and I was like, I don't know how to run a business or operate a business, how to start a business. And she worked at a bank, and she said, I'm going to help you. But Justin, this is an opportunity you cannot just pass up.
Wow.
So he's like, look, I'll make you a deal. It was a very small deposit, I think like $1,000.
Wow.
And building's already set up.
Yep.
Right.
She wrote him a check for $1,000. That mom did.
She believed in you.
Yeah, she had so much faith and belief in me. And she's like, Justin, you love this so much. You're so creative and you're so talented. And that after that first year, the next year, I doubled in the amount of kids. Wow. So it was just kids just kept coming in. And the next thing I know, I'm going to say maybe 6 years later, maybe 5. Oh my gosh, Courtney, you're really taking me back today. We got talent for the first time. And I took a group of kids of 30 dancers, and we made it to the top 20.
Cool.
And a fun fact about that, I'll never forget this. They kept like saying, Justin, we want to get you on TV teaching the kids. And I was like, oh no, I can't do that. I'm terribly shy. I do not want to be on television. I mean, talk about a plot twist a few years later, but that's how I got here. And it's such a beautiful story that became my journey. And I'm very, very grateful and thankful. So Michelle, if you're listening, you know how much I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Well, and I just want to give a shout out to that original studio that saw something in you and nurtured that love and that ability. And, and even with the student teaching and assisting and stuff, and that's a small town. I mean, I've heard of Mesquite, but it's still small. So they're just, the fact that they were like, we have to get this kid out to another place. We can't do any more for him. And that's just, once a studio owner or a teacher realizes that, hey, I've gone as far as I can, that's a testament to an excellent teacher who says, I can't do anymore. Let's find you something bigger. That's really cool.
Joy Sharp School of Dance. I mean, Mesquite, like you said, home of the barbecue and the rodeo. And now I could say Justin Johnson and Alyssa Edwards and Beyond Belief Dance Company.
Yes.
Yep.
But Joy Sharp School of Dance, yes, I owe so much. And, I pass that studio. Sometimes I'm in Mesquite, and I just smile so big because, if it weren't for that place, I don't really know where I would be at this point. I'm sure I'd be in the arts somewhere.
Right.
But that definitely was the beginning of the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I love that
That's
story.
really cool.
That is so cool. How old were you when the studio fell opportunity came about, when that $1,000 check was handed? How old were you at
I
the
was
time?
probably, let's say, I was young. Let's go back 21 years. So what was I, like 22, 23?
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
And I was just, oh gosh, baby. Here's the thing. The business part for me has never been my thing. I'm very fortunate that I have people on my side,
Yeah.
because ultimately that's what a studio owner is. They have to be in sync with you and in line and aligned with you.
Mm-hmm.
But Michelle was very much helpful that first year, and her daughter eventually graduated. She was 23. My gosh, I had no clue, no idea.
Wow.
But you figured it out.
Oh, it's like someone, it's like it's learning how to swim. Okay, they threw me into 12 feet of water with no floaties and said, "Good luck." So I absolutely was trying to stay afloat, but I figured it out. I mean, absolutely, for sure, because it was something that I don't think there was anything else that even interested me at the time.
Yeah.
And we fast forward a little bit, since we're getting the whole memoirs here today.
Yes.
And I'll never forget going with my friends. And well, first I have to tell this. I was in my second, third year of college, and I'm sketching costumes. I'm sketching staging and lighting, set. And I'll never forget, a professor walked up to me, and I was in a large lecture, and she said to me, "Justin, this is quite creative." And I just looked like, oh my gosh, I got caught. And she's like, "You're not interested in this class?" I said, "Not at all."
What class was it? Like biology?
I probably was. And I was like, "Not at all." And she said, "I think you're onto something right here, and you should follow that."
Ooh.
Wow. Never forget, I packed my backpack and I never went back. I was like, I need to be creating. I need to be creating all of this. These stories that I have in my head, I need to make all of this come to life. I want to do the hair, the makeup. I want to create the set and the lighting.
Yes.
And I want to find this cast and, nurture them. And to me, dance is the greatest language that unites us all. It definitely, for me, is the greatest story ever told through the art of movement, most powerful. And so, yeah, I had to add that in there.
I love that.
Well, and another person to thank, thank you, Professor So-and-so, for recognizing that, this ain't it.
This is not it, girl. This is not it. This was not it for me. This was not it.
Oh, that's funny.
I knew at a young age that I didn't want to be a professional dancer. I never saw myself dancing behind someone.
Oh.
And I celebrate. I love hearing my students are like, "I want to be a backup dancer." And I'm like, "A backup dancer? Why don't you, come center stage and you hire the backup dancers? Be the star of it all."
Yeah.
But I knew, I was like, no, I want to be the creator. I want to be the vision behind it all.
That's great. So many people know that. I know that
right.
I
and if you,
don't,
yeah.
I like being a dancer and I like being an educator, but I don't really like being the creator. You know what I mean? That's the choreography, creative side. Some people are meant to do that, and it comes easier to others and harder for others. I think that a lot of people, especially dance parents, might think, "Oh, you dance? Well, you do everything. You're a dancer, you're a choreographer, you're an educator, you're a business owner. You wear all these hats." It's like, some people might just want to wear one hat and be good at that one hat that they wear. And that's that's where they're meant to go in this industry. Or there are people that can wear a lot of hats and be really successful, and that's great too. But for you to know, I want to create, that's where your heart was in this dance world, and now also business owner, how special.
Yeah, like I said, it really became my purpose. And, I found Alyssa Edwards, like I was saying, by accident. I remember being with my friends. We went to a club. They had a cabaret theater. And I walk into this, I felt like Alice, because I walked into this wonderland, looking on stage, and there's this character larger than life. And that I remember being a little confused and conflicted, but I was definitely interested. And this character was so bold and had so much power, because the entire room was just captivated by this performance. And I looked to my friend, I said, "What is that?" And he said, Justin, that is a drag queen. And I said, a what? And he said, a drag queen. And like us, being from Mesquite, I'd never heard of no drag queen. And so, fast forward, I talk about this in my one woman stand-up show. It's quite funny how this crazy little thing called life works out, because never in a million years did I see or imagine a chapter where I would be entering an open stage talent drag show. And so here I come. There was a flyer up, on the wall looking for new talent. I told my friend, I'm going to do that. He said, you don't know how to do drag. And I said, I don't, but I'm going to figure it out. And I remember, like I said, the bonus to having 4 sisters, they had a little bit of cosmetics, and I loved like dressing them up. And you guys truly, I can sit back and just remember all this and go down memory lane and just giggle, because I put myself in some kind of drag, and I had like this high neck snakeskin leotard.
Yes.
Ooh.
That sounds fierce.
And I mean, it was probably fierce to me.
In that moment, it was fierce.
I literally waltzed in this cabaret theater on this Thursday night, and I was like, I'm entering this open stage night. The campy MC was like, well, what is your drag name? And I'm like, oh, I haven't gotten one just yet. I'm still workshopping that. And she's like, doll, you got about 3 seconds. Oh. And I said, I want to be Alyssa. And she said, Alyssa? I said, just like Alyssa Milano, because I grew up watching Who's the Boss.
Oh my God. Yes.
So I get on stage, and my friends were like, Justin, you were so good.
Really?
Yes. And I actually won the competition that night.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you really were so good.
Again, your calling. It was your calling.
Well, to be fair, it was by audience response, and maybe I had the loudest friends in the building.
All right.
That's fair. That's fair.
They loved you.
And so part of winning is you come back the next week. Okay. And it's like, you're like the little special guest. And I found myself doing that for my creative outlet somehow, some way, I don't know. And, it all goes hand in hand now. When I look at Beyond Belief and I think of Alyssa Edwards and me being the man that does wear a lot of hats. Mm-hmm. And those worlds have kind of now blended together for me. Because like I tell my dance moms when they get a costume, they're like, what do you think I should do with this? I'm like, put it in drag. Just put, and listen, here's the thing. I love the appliques. I love the rhinestones. I'm like, well, we need more than that. Come on. Let's start building on top of that. And, really, honestly, people always ask, like, what is in the water over there? Like, what for me, I want to create individuality, uniqueness. I want to create, a fantasy world that's fantastical, a world that for me as a young child that I wanted to live in. And I teach my students to be your best version of you. Be you, and you're beautiful, rather than trying to emulate someone else. That's why I think I have a diverse group of dancers, and I like the idea of it being more of an act, a spectacle, rather than just a 3-minute dance. And I applaud the studio owners that have the patience that can teach that. I think for me, in my mind, I'm like, I want to watch the dance twice or the performance twice, and then I want to create something all new.
Wow.
So the dances that we did at Streets were new.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
My group is so open to that. My kids are like, they'll come in, the minis, and say, Justin, do you want to make us something new for this weekend?
Oh my gosh.
They're so down for it. They're so open. And I'm like, let's do it. And we'll just and start over.
Wow. Coming to you from our Season 5 premiere sponsor, Francisco Gala Dance Works, I'm excited to introduce New Century Dance Project, a festival of performance and choreography. New Century Dance Project focuses on teaching the craft of choreography and why it's important for both choreographers and the dancer. Festival components include a choreography intensive for dancers ages 15 to 24, a choreography competition, concert performances, and community outreach events. The 7-day intensive starts every day with a technique class. After that, participants will head into classes and seminars that aid in the choreographic process, such as compositional techniques, improv, use of props, music selection, partnering, lighting and design, and so much more. The choreographic competition offers 3 age groups: high school, undergraduate, and emerging professional. If you are an aspiring choreographer ages 15 or older looking to advance your composition knowledge and display your work in an artistic choreography competition, then look no further than New Century Dance Project, taking place this summer in Santa Fe, New Mexico from July 29th through August 4th, 2024. The deadline to submit your choreography for consideration is by March 1st, 2024. Use our exclusive podcast promo code Making the Impact in all caps when registering for the festival to receive $75 off. Learn more on their website at newcenturydanceproject.org.
Well, okay, so speaking of that, so this is where I want to get into what your studio like weekly schedule kind of looks like, because dancers who, first of all, want that to be thrown something new every week have to have something to back it up with. They can't just be like, I love this, and not have any training to back it up to be able to then execute it. So what does your studio look like on a weekly basis for your competitive kids so that they're able to come in and do a dance every weekend that's brand new?
Well, after I filmed Dancing Queen, my Netflix series, I knew after that, I knew I was ready I felt like I was like at a threshold that I needed to break through. I knew that I was at a place that it's like, okay, what is next? Where do I see myself going with this? And I made a choice, a decision. I said, I'm gonna follow my instincts. I'm gonna follow my heart. And I've always wanted just a company. So what I did is I did away with the rec program. I did away with a large number of kids. I wanted more quality, not quantity. And I was looking for a very specific dancer. And for me, the first thing that I recognize that is interesting to me is a dancer that is authentic, that is, of course, passionate, dedicated, disciplined, all of those things, but someone that gives themselves permission to walk into a space and a facility and they're open to learning anything. So with that being said, I'm very proud to say that now I just have a company. I only have 30 kids from minis to seniors, and I've hand selected all of them, not just through a 1 or 2 day workshop audition, but through an evaluation of classes. Believe it or not, my kids only come 3 days a week. Wow. So the olders come Monday and Wednesday, and the youngers come Tuesday and Thursday. So the junior companies are Tuesday and Thursdays, and the teen and senior company are Monday and Wednesdays. And then on Sundays, we do a company rehearsal, but each age is only 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Okay.
So is the company rehearsal when you guys do rehearsal for competition and things? Is it training during the week and then rehearsals? Or
there's training during the week. They're definitely going to come in and they're going to do their ballet classes. I want to say that we're as less structured as what people would think. So I never take faculty outside of ballet and then their technique classes. When they come to my class, my kids don't know what to expect. They might get jazz, they might get lyrical, they might get contemporary. We might be doing progressions, but everything is technique based. And so for me, I'm not big on just combo classes, meaning we'll do that maybe the last 10, 15 minutes, but I love watching them do that in the convention classes. So I would say the first 3 hours of their week is just technique. And then the second, so Monday nights, just technique, 6 to 9. And then on Wednesday, they would do probably 6 to 7:30 technique, 7:30 to 9, we'd work on some kind of choreography. And that could be me introducing something I want to build a Finding Wonderland dance or story. And then so we'll start talking about the story and the idea and then the cast. And then we'll start kind of workshopping movement. It really is collaborative at Beyond Belief. I think all of my faculty has a wild imagination like me. They're all very creative based. And we all kind of work really well together. But we also bring in the students as well. Rather than me saying, look, it's not about me and my ego. What do you guys feel comfortable? What do you hear when you hear this selection of music? I really like to challenge them.
Oh, I love that.
And challenge their creativity and their ideals rather than just making a piece, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's so nice to hear. I mean, I feel like we hear that often when it comes to solos. You know, a lot of people are like, okay, make sure the dancer likes the song they're dancing to and is on board with it. Don't just give them a song. Like, okay, yeah, solos feel personal. It's one person on stage. But then when it comes to group routines, it's usually like what the teacher says goes, and that's it. And you don't get to fight it. You don't get to say what you think. Like, there's no collaboration in that process ever, usually, from what I feel like I hear in the studio world. So I think because you have such a boutique collective in your studio and having a small group of dancers that all work well together, that are all on the same page, you also have a different respect and trust for them to be able to say, let's collaborate on this. And to just kind of get them into the world of knowing what it feels like to become a creative, because that's what you're so great at, and that's where your passion lies. That it's great to introduce that to the dancers too, to kind of get an idea as to how you work and how you like to create. Because a lot of choreographers like collaboration. There's a lot of people that want to have that feedback and bounce ideas off of the dancers. And hey, does this work? Does this feel good for you? Hey, what do you hear what do you feel when you hear this? And what do you see when you hear this? You know, that type of response back is helpful for your creative process.
Well, when you involve the dancers, that's really where for me, that's where you really get to feel the heartbeat of it all. And then it becomes a part of them, and it's special to them. And I remember being a kid, and oh my gosh, can't believe I'm sharing this, but dancing to one time, which I love the song, It's My Life. What is it? John Bon Jovi.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, the girls are in the all girls piece. They're dancing to like Britney Spears, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. I want to be in that.
Right.
You're like kind of like back in my day, it was like you're put into a box. It was like, okay, you're a boy, you're going to do the boy parts and the partnering. And I'm like, well, hold on now. This was also too before we got, lyrical introduced the emotion. And then contemporary dance came, and it was like, what is contemporary dance? People were really just mind blown by that. Yeah. And for me, contemporary is like, I think of anything new, and the movement could be new for you. I think it was very hard for us to kind of place, but it was technical based. And I think with not having that opportunity as a child to pick like, oh, I want to dance to this kind of song, or I want to tell this kind of story. I kind of bring that to my kids. Like, are you guys feeling this song? Listen, here's the truth of it all. We've all sat in an audience before and have watched a group of dancers on stage, not interested in a thing of what they're doing.
100%.
It's like someone told them to do this.
Right.
They invested, probably not. So I tell my kids, and here's the thing, I always say, if it doesn't work, look, I had a good idea, it just didn't go over well. I ask them to be open to the idea, and then I get their feedback. But then I also teach them, look, you've got to be in this industry adaptable, flexible, moldable. You've got to be like Play-Doh if you want to be successful. So Beyond Belief is a lot. It is a whole lot rolled into one. But also, I don't know if I answered this question. As far as training goes at the studio, every group, the first 3 hours of their week is just technique training, because it is so important for them to be able to move fast through learning choreography. That is the emphasis. And then the second half of the week is half technique, half choreography. And then on Sunday, we just put it all together. Hopefully that helped.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Nice and concise, but I liked the whole reasoning behind all of it because it makes sense.
Well, it is a lot. And I know, like, I always also share with new parents when they come. First of all, fun fact, I took down the website. I
couldn't find it.
We noticed.
I was like, I don't think they have a website anymore.
Do they exist?
No, I told Kelly, who runs my studio, I was like, I don't want no new kids. There cannot be any more new kids in here because this is so many people.
Wow.
And we're kind of hearing some more companies like this, like Project 21, It's like, I was like, I don't want a whole bunch of new students. So the people that come to Beyond Belief, they have to go on a wild egg hunt to usually get in. And then the parents will ask, is this like a club or something? Like, how do we get a membership? But here's the thing, that eliminates people that aren't necessarily interested in the seriousness of it. And I understand we're not doing any curing of any diseases. We're just dancing and sharing art, but it's something that I take so personal and so much pride in that I only want to share my experience, my knowledge, and my artistry with people that are grateful and appreciative.
It's important.
Well, and who want to be there for the reasons you have set up your business the way you have. Not everybody can be everything to everyone. Mm-hmm. And that's just what it is. That's life. That's the world. That's business. So, you've attracted the people and chosen the people that you want to, represent your company. And that's what it is, a company, which is, like you said, it's an interesting, newer, different take on the studio. Mm-hmm. But I do think with the way training has gone over the past decade, like you said earlier, with all of the television shows, everybody wants to dance now. But there's versions of that. There's, I want to dance 1 day a week. I want to dance 7 days a week. I want to dance every minute of every day for the rest of my life on a stage, get paid. And there's room for everyone, but not everywhere. You got to go to the right place.
Said that. You just absolutely said that. I feel like you're speaking my language because I share that with all of my people who I call the Unicorn Tribe. I was like, y'all are my people. We come in here, we share this space together. We don't have to come here. We get to come here. Mm-hmm. We get to the studio and turn on these lights. And for these 3 hours of the night, we get to unzip ourselves. Whatever happened on the outside of the world, I tell my students, when you walk in, you unzip yourself. Give yourself permission to explore, to create. Maybe find that inner character that lives within you. I also tell them when we're getting in, because I have some very, like I said, being introverted, it's like, here's the thing. I always use this analogy. Like Clark Kent isn't always Superman until he puts on that leotard in that cape. Mm-hmm. And for me, I feel like drag gave me this voice that I didn't even know I had. And so I always challenge my students, find your inner drag character, find your super power. And I think I always, too, like what you were saying, Lesley, beyond belief is for some, not for all. And these people are a perfect fit, but I do applaud studios that can have 300 and 400 kids and make it a full-blown business and they live off of. I'm very fortunate that it's now, because of my work as Alyssa, I can make Beyond Belief my company to share my passion.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we've brought up Alyssa a handful of times. I do want to just make sure that everyone is aware that we're talking about Alyssa Edwards here. We're talking to Alyssa Edwards from RuPaul's Drag Race, the drag queen from Texas, and who owns a dance studio, y'all. Like, if there's a lot of fans out there who might be like, who's Alyssa that we're referencing? And this is a studio spotlight about Justin's studio, but also who is Alyssa Edwards. And I think that also where you're at in your career with Alyssa as well, being Alyssa Edwards, has allowed you to really scale down and focus on what you want to be able to focus on. Because there's a lot of studios, I think, even like financially, they're like, I have to have 300 kids to make this work. Whereas you have other income streams coming in other ways where you can actually be like, I can put more focus on this company and this studio if it's more boutique and if it's more selective and if it's a smaller scale company. You're still going to the conventions. You're still weekly teaching. You're still doing all the things as a studio owner. It's just not on that grand scale, but also, like you said, quality over quantity. And honestly, I'm getting flashbacks to our recent studio spotlight that we just had with Dance Attack. They said the exact same thing. They have a smaller studio. A lot of our studio spotlights have said that. And I think it's important for a lot of our listeners out there to hear, like we've said, all the different types of studios that exist in this beautiful dance world, because maybe that works for you and maybe the mega studio works for someone else. And there have been studios that we've had on who have said they have like 30 staff members running the ship. It's like crazy.
4 locations, and you're like, what?
Which is amazing. It depends on if that's what you want out of studio ownership, or if you want it to be a little bit more selective and exclusive and in the right way. So props to you for making this company. It's really exciting. So let's talk about quickly Dancing Queen, when you did that, the Netflix show, which if anyone hasn't watched it, go take a peek. It's on Netflix. So much fun. Love watching it. So were you in the studio? That was the studio program at that point. And after the show, you said that's when you became more of a company?
Well, that's what fueled it.
I see.
Truly a plot twist in my life. I didn't see that coming. I didn't manifest that. I was never like, I need to be on TV. Once again, after appearing on RuPaul's Drag Race, and they found it so compelling. They're like, love that you love being on stage, but this is not your first love. And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I need to be in a studio creating, this was just all a trick of fate for me to be wearing this wig and be the man behind the magic of Alyssa Edwards. And I remember RuPaul saying to me, like, you are wildly gifted, and how you can balance and juggle all of this is just so interesting and intriguing. The next thing I know, we're at the studio and we're shooting a sizzle reel. And here's the thing, it was very hard for me to be open to that, because we've seen some dance shows and I just look.
We sure have.
I don't know if that's really me. But here's the thing, I was very proud of myself when I watched the show. It was very campy, it was very cheesy, but it was so, there was so much power within the vulnerability for me to peel back the curtain and unveil some of the magic, show the crazy sides, the wild sides, the fun, all the sides and all the angles. That was, I look at that and I'm like, wow, that was a chapter that I will be forever thankful and grateful for. Definitely.
Wow. And RuPaul told you that you're like really talented. I mean, I can't with that. That's amazing.
Well, I remember being there at the World of Wonder offices, and some of the dance kids were with me, and Ru was like, this is the first time we've seen something like this. And oh my gosh, you're from Texas, and how does this work? And are people accepting? And I'm very fortunate that, this is going to be hard to believe, but before I was on Drag Race, nobody knew anything about me or my personal life. So
really,
no idea. When season 5 of RuPaul's Drag Race was announced, and Texas was like, oh my gosh, our very own Justin Johnson, who owns Beyond Belief Dance Company, is Alyssa Edwards. My whole studio was like, what?
Really?
Wow.
My best friend knew, and my secretary.
No.
And everyone else was like, Justin. I remember getting a letter from one of the dads, and it touched me so much. He was just so kind with sharing. I remember the letter, it said, Justin, I'm so very thankful that my daughters get to study underneath someone who is so uniquely gifted. And thank you for sharing. It was something on the lines of this. And I remember going, because I was so afraid of being judged and people would look at me, differently. And not one parent. It was like a scene from a movie. I walked in the studio, and after the announcement, I thought, oh my God, I was in my car having a little bit of anxiety. And I thought, what am I going to say when I walk in? Hi, I'm Alyssa Edwards. Like,
right.
I do feel like I'm the real Hannah Montana of Mesquite. So, I was like, just laugh and make a joke of it. And so I walked in, I said, everyone was sitting there just like waiting. I said, well, hello, everyone, Hannah Montana. And so we just kind of we all laughed, and everybody just like kind of started clapping. They're like, Justin, wow. And it was just so special. And the whole, everybody was just so celebratory. So it wasn't something like, okay, we're not going to address the elephant in the room. Everyone was just like, congratulations.
Wow.
And that's awesome.
Yes, the feedback and the response was very overwhelming. I'm even feeling that again right now, reliving that. That was 10 years ago. And I'm just so thankful. Like I said, it's one thing being celebrated, but that feeling of being appreciated and heard is just so special.
Well, and that goes back to your initial experience of being at your first studio and feeling like, wow, I get it. These people get me. For it to come full circle for you to be able to now have students that you're like, I get you. You belong here. Like, this is where you belong. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I feel like my life has been one big circle. It's like coming back, and people have always asked, why do you keep your studio in Mesquite? Why do you keep it in that area? And I said, here's the thing, there's probably another little Justin. Yes, I could move it somewhere else, but it's home for me, and home is where the heart is. And I am, in this season 21, I made a promise to myself that if I'm going to do this, I'm never going to look at it as just a business. It has to come from the heart, and it has to be real, and it has to be something that I'm completely invested in. And, in the back of my head, I'm like, here's the thing, Justin, it's better to go out a champ than a chump. So don't ever come in the studio because you have to and you feel like it's work. Come in this studio because you created this, and it's a world now for others to believe in. So make sure that it's authentic and it's from a right place.
I love that. Wow. That's so special, and that's so true. I love hearing this story. It's absolutely inspiring. And I have a few more questions as far as the studio life. And this is one. First question is, and we ask every studio spotlight because it's just routine at this point, ballet. How much ballet do your dancers take? I know you said they're only there for like technique training 2 days a week. So are they taking ballet both days? How long is the class? Is it like a standard ballet class? Are they supplementing ballet elsewhere? Tell us about ballet at the studio.
Okay, so they're going to take a ballet class for an hour and a half at the beginning of each week. And then it's also an hour and 15 on Sunday for our warm-up.
Nice.
Nice.
But I've given my ballet teachers permission. Like, the ballet class can be disciplined, but be exciting and invigorating all in one. I actually just read something that was interesting to me, that it was saying some of the, ballet had to modern its classwork for kids to really find that love for it again, especially when you look at, like, let's say competition kids. I didn't go to a class where I was doing headstands and
right.
these fascinating tricks and acrobatics that we're seeing nowadays. I didn't do that. And I think for a competition, some kids it seems like in the younger, like a mini junior, that's more of an emphasis. That seems like it's a focus. So I told my ballet teachers, let's make the ballet classes still kind of fun for them. And they can see the reward. It will be an incentive for them.
Yeah. We all know the struggle is real when it comes to getting stage ready for competition, especially when it's time to apply your eyelashes. We've all been there, myself included. But guess what? I've got the ultimate hack just for you. Lily Lashes to the rescue. They offer a variety of styles that suit every dancer's needs. Lily Lashes are top quality, conform to the shape of your eye, and they are available with sheer transparent lash line bands or black lash line bands to resemble eyeliner. They have half lashes called butterflies that are a great accent lash and are ideal for smaller eyes with no trimming required. Perfect for young dancers. Every Lily Lash is multi-dimensional, which gives an elevated look under stage lights and shows up beautifully in pictures. They truly are so much better than those drugstore lashes. Oh, and did I mention they're reusable? That's right. You can simply tuck them back into their box until your next performance and reuse them again and again. I've been wearing my Lily Lashes while teaching at convention and absolutely love the way they make my eyes pop on stage. With so many styles and options, check out Lily Lashes now to enhance your stage makeup for your next performance. And we're happy to share with you an exclusive podcast promo code to try them out with a discount. Use the coupon code IMPACT20 in all caps at checkout to receive 20% off your order. That's IMPACT20 in all caps at checkout on lilylashes.com.
Yeah,
it has
I think
to be.
That's really wise.
It has to be.
And if you have the right ballet teacher, it's possible. Not every ballet teacher is willing or able to do that, I think, just because of, the age of most ballet teachers. Some of us are younger, some of us are older, but like a lot of them skew older just because of the nature of ballet. And if you can find that right teacher, I think that's really, really effective for that to be like the exciting class of the week is we get to go to ballet.
And
I wonder what we're doing in ballet today.
Like, I can testify that what I've watched from your studio at competition this season, they have very strong technical foundational training that stems from either the classes you're giving them in the jazz contemporary, all of that. But also, like, I can tell they have ballet technique. So I know that they're taking ballet, but it's interesting to hear that they're only taking it 2 times a week. Like, that's pretty impressive because we talk about all the time, how much ballet do you take and all the things, and everyone thinks there's a certain number, but it's like quality over quantity. If you are taking ballet properly, if the teacher's making it fun, if the dancers are getting that very detailed training and are applying the corrections and are focused, you don't need to take it every single day to be great. You can take it 2 times a week.
I think here's the thing. What is it? Moderation with everything. You do not, if you are consuming your time, if you are being smart with your time and you are diligent within your work, that is ample amount. That's why we're going back to having a boutique company is easier because it's kids that are they're going to get the most out of that hour and a half class one day, an hour and 15 the next, rather than me stand behind them like with a ruler going, stretch behind the knee. I always say, look, I'm not a babysitter. Okay. By no means. So you're your own babysitter and you're in the driver's seat, okay, of your vehicle. So if you're not taking your classes seriously, the only one that will be affected is you. And here's the thing also with me too, I'm very upfront with my students. You get casted based off your work. Unless it's a specific role or a part that I'm just really seeing something, I want you to know that this is all, I am a little bit old school when it comes to this. I am a tough love coach that nurtures as much as I scold and hold. And I believe in hard work and work ethic, and you're going to get what you earn. We do live in a world nowadays where children's, going back to, I did not grow up with this. So I knew to come home when the street lights were coming on. I drank out of water hoses. I played outside all day long. I read an article about that and I kind of giggled because I was like, that was my generation. But I was very responsible in my classes because I loved to go into dance 2 times a week. It was the highlight of my week. I do hear about studios programs that they're there like it seems every day, which I think if that works for people, that works. I don't know if that would work for me. I don't know if that's entirely necessary. I guess it is if you have a lot of kids and a lot of programs and a lot of, you know what I mean? I mean, truthfully, we have 4 numbers on each age level.
Yeah.
2 small groups, 2 large groups, and that's it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I told my parents, I was like, that's too many. Like, let's quality into 1. Like, let's make like 3 really fierce, strong, powerful, magical stories and performances rather than just, you're at these conventions, you're sitting watching the same kids come out 20 times. Personally, but I get it's turned into like a little bit of a business. And, I think in my world, in my head, I would love to have a theater and a stage and just do my own shows one day.
Yeah, you should.
But I love watching my kids thrive and grow and be inspired at these conventions. I mean, they left streets and nonstop in the classes. And we get back, we talk about the weekend. We all set. And like I said, instead of just going right into a warm up and progressions, let's talk. What did we learn this weekend? What did we celebrate? What are things we need to work on? Let's listen to the notes. Let's learn about one another. I teach them we're a chain. Okay, we're like a link. And if there is a broke link, if there's a weak link, it affects the whole chain. So we have to stay connected. The sign outside the studio says Beyond Belief Dance Company, a family of champions. And
ooh, I love that.
I found my family within the studio. I found my tribe. I found my people. And the idea of champion, it's not just validated by a trophy. Champion to me is the hard work. It's the amount of focus and attention to detail that you put in. So I feel like I'm rambling so much. I think I'm so proud to say that I found this chapter. I found this space and I found this place and I found the people and the characters that fit perfectly into it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I see that
it's
in
really cool.
your work as well. You know, it really shows in the work that you're producing at competition and on the stage. It really speaks for itself and says a lot, and is that memorable piece and does feel like a show. Like I said at the beginning, like I do believe you need to produce some type of show. You need a full length something. You need to be Broadway bound. Hello. Because there's just so much good stuff just from the whole spectacle. I mean, Lesley, I will say that when I watched Justin Studio, there was always a prop, but there was always a prop that was
interesting.
It was used. Oh, it was used. And
it wasn't lonely somewhere.
Oh my gosh, it was used, and it was oh my gosh, Justin, I have to tell the box dance, the juniors in the box, like they look like Jack in the Box.
Wow,
the clowns.
They were coming out with the red.
Oh my
cool.
God, it was so good. It was so good. Like I'm dreaming about it.
One thing that's also that makes these numbers so unique is it is, like I said, collaborative work with the whole faculty. So like for me, I get in the room and I'm like, look, I have this idea, and I see the younger dancers in these boxes, and we're going to come out. And I love the idea of Tetris and like the visual effect of it. And like I said, the story with like the gloves and the fingers, and I did a lot of gestures. And so I get in the room, and I mean, we have a plethora of people that are there just helping. And it's so inspiring. On that number, it was me, my assistant Jenna, Keely, Easton Blake. You know, we all get in one room and we just start bouncing ideas off each other. And then the kids start adding things.
Cool.
It's really a very special process at Beyond Belief, creating these pieces and the work. And then I'll start like, okay, what do you guys think about like this costume? Oh, here's something, look, like this is a note. I like look at this and I'm like, I think we need makeup like this.
Ooh.
Or I'll start like writing things, and the kids, they're just all involved. So when I gave up the idea of like, look, stop making this a competition, stop making this a competitive thing with other companies, make this authentic, what you've always done. It's like the world, it's like the clouds just parted, and it was that aha moment. And I make it now a competition more within the dancers and not necessarily the score sheet, but essentially like, look, what can we do to get 100 possible points? And something that I did last year, oh my gosh, I put this on my Facebook. I told the minis, I was like, it's the 20th year. Here's the thing. I'm going to create this piece with you all, but for every perfect score you get, because this is a hard piece, it's going to require a lot of work outside of the studio. And I wanted to challenge them, like I was saying, because this phone is quite a distraction. I wanted to, for me, when I was young, I want to chat about this. We spoke to one another. We got to the studio early. We talked about choreography. We ran notes. We didn't have videos to learn our material and to go home and review. We had to stay late. And so I wanted to challenge my dancers to do the same. Tell someone they did good before you leave today. Maybe come early and meet with someone if you have a counterpart and you guys work together. Maybe present something to me if y'all see it's not working out. So it does open conversation within the studio, and that's why they're so close. And here's the thing, chemistry is important, teachers. It is important. We can tell when a group of kids paid their tuition and they're all on stage wearing the same outfit. As an audience member, we can say we can see that. And I always remove my teacher hat once I go sit in the audience, and I put on my audience member hat. I tell the students, like, I'm so very excited to get to be in the front row to watch you all perform tonight.
This is what I say every time. Please go sit in the audience, teachers. Please go sit in the audience, because then you get to look at your creation. Don't look at it from the wings. That's not your creation.
But also take the goggles off.
I had to get rid of that. Yeah, I had to get rid of that. I had to get rid of that and say, but I told my students last year, I said, for every perfect score, I'm going to give everyone in the dance $100 bill.
Whoa.
Oh my God. Well, you can afford to do that when you only got 30 students.
Not really, because I'm sitting there opening the opening competition. We were at Hollywood Vibe, and the minis got a perfect 100 on their contemporary.
Oh my God.
And my partner looks over and is like, go to the ATM. All of my kids are on stage and they're like,
no.
The studio directors are like, Justin, do they get paid to win? I'm like, no, not at all.
No, it's not really that.
Faculty's laughing, and So I ended up giving them, I'm looking for this picture, a $100. And then we go into, okay, right here. I had to give these kids, here's them holding their $100.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
That's so fun.
And that's a lot of kids, audience, who can't see this video.
Hold on. So once I did that, the teens were like, they're really getting money for, what about us? And I'm like, hey, it's the 20th season for every 100. The next week, the minis large group gets a 100, and then the teens large group did a 100.
Oh my God. No.
Like, okay, so now I'm like, well, there went $3,000.
Oh my God.
Guys. And they're like, but what I found from this like experiment was they would stay after, they would come early, or they created a group chats where they would write notes and compare notes. And I thought, this is what you've always dreamt. This is that magical clubhouse, and kids are communicating, and the link is so strong. It's so powerful. I did tell them this year, they tried to bring that back up. I said, no.
One time only.
That was for the 20th season.
Maybe on the 30th.
Right.
Season.
If you're still here.
Right. Don't come back here being 29 years old asking me for your $100.
Oh, it's so good.
Man.
Something that I'm very proud of, especially watching the kids from Dancing Queen graduate from the Beyond Belief program and getting accepted into their first choice, furthering their education through the wonderful world of art. Willow ended up going to the Boston Conservatory. She was the presidential scholar. Kiana went to SMU on a full scholarship. Riley ended up at Chapman. NYU for Sydney. Molly was in a bridge program, ended up booking her first work on the Las Vegas Strip. And all of them have become so successful. And it truly just makes me so proud. And once again, the greatest reward is getting to sit back, sit in the audience, and watch your students, whether it be on a competition stage, a convention stage, or on life's biggest stage.
This is so awesome. I love hearing all about your studio and what you've created for the community in Texas and for the dance community and around the world. I mean, so many people know you through the drag scene, and then now also through your Netflix show for the dance world that kind of blends both. And like you said, it's a nice blend these days. But can you share anything about what might be coming up for Beyond Belief? Any exciting things in the horizon and the future? Any goals that you want to achieve in the next few years with the studio?
Well, I have so many.
Ooh.
I feel like I love to journal a lot. So I love to write little like love letters to myself with like goals and ideas and ideals and what I see. And I always say that like my book of life, it's already written. It's just now being read out loud. And I'm trusting the process. I understand the idea of timing, and I'm enjoying the chapter that I'm in. I filmed that it's coming out soon, a new reality series called The GOAT, the greatest of all time reality television contestant.
Cool.
And it's a fun show. It's going to be on Amazon Freevee, and without giving away too much, but it's a lot of different people from different walks of life. You got a housewife, you got a guy who won The Circle, you got Lauren from Love is Blind, you got a girl from Vanderpump Rules, me from Drag Race, and we all live in a house. We do these like silly fun challenges, and I can't wait for that show to come out. Look on the lookout for that, probably May. Don't know a date yet, but I'm just fingers are crossed for May. And then I think for Beyond, so that's something I'm excited about, and I'm also working on a new touring show. And for Beyond Belief, I think where I see the future of that is just building on this solid foundation. I have so much heart for the world of art, and I want to continue building what has already been laid with this foundation. I believe not just my book, but Beyond Belief's book, it's already written. It's just now being read out loud, and I'm enjoying this chapter. I can't wait to see the growth that's already been laid on this solid foundation. There's so many talented kids there, and I'm so proud that every time I see them on stage, they're also authentically themselves. Did you notice that, Courtney?
Yes.
The diversity and like the uniqueness in each kid. And I really have instilled with them, if you want to be a successful performer, learn about yourself. Yes, I want you to be able to dance in an ensemble. and pick up material that is very invaluable information and a skill that you need to learn at a young age. But I also want you to have a little bit of a star power and a star quality within, that there's only one of you. And Judy Garland said it best: it's better to be a first-rate version of yourself than a second-rate of someone else. And I want that to continue to rise. And if I still have the love and the art and the energy, I just still want to celebrate beyond belief. So I'm excited to see what's next.
We hope you enjoyed our latest and last studio spotlight of season 5, featuring Beyond Belief Dance Company. Huge shout out to the owner of Beyond Belief, Justin Johnson, for joining us on this fantastic chat. We loved learning about your studio. Don't forget to follow them on Instagram at Beyond Belief Dance Company. And stay connected with Justin as Alyssa Edwards. Follow them on Instagram at Alyssa Edwards _1.
Don't forget to follow Making the Impact on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and pretty much everywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you want more exclusive episodes, support our podcast by joining our Platinum Premium membership for only $5 a month. Subscribers receive free Making the Impact stickers, shout-outs live on the air, ad-free listening, and exclusive access to our Q&A episodes for members only. Join now at impactdanceadjudicators.com/platinum premium or click the link in our show notes.
Looking for some outside expertise to fine-tune your dance before hitting the competition stage this season? Then check out IDA's online judges critiques. Our seasoned judges will provide you with a video critique of your routine, just like you'd receive at competition. But with IDA's online judges critiques, we take it one step further with our post-critique additional feedback. Your judge will go through your routine again, pausing the video to give you even more detailed and personalized feedback. You can even request a judge that specializes in your style of dance. This game-changing service has helped countless dancers prepare for the competitive stage and is available year-round. With critiques starting at only $35, what are you waiting for? Click the link in our show notes or visit our website at impactdanceadjudicators.com/online critiques to learn more and submit your dance today.
Stay tuned as we wrap up Season 5 of Making the Impact with episodes on in-house versus guest choreography, a chat with current college dance majors, and our Season 5 takeaway episode.
We're wrapping up Season 5 with only a few more episodes. We hope you've enjoyed them all. We'll see you next week for our final few. Until then, keep dancing.